Hi guys, welcome to the part 2 of the tourist or visit visa video. It's Ronnie Lawson, aka First Lady Ronnie, founder of Dice Global Limited, a migration consultancy organization that specializes in assisting people to travel, to study, work, or invest abroad. So I'm going to continue the video from the last time. I ended at the fact that most people have the intention to switch from their tourist or visit visa once they get to their final destination. And like I said, you need to understand the consequences of your actions, because there are so many people that have no idea what they are doing. Most people have been, influenced by their travel consultants, and or they are just desperate to travel. So whatever opportunity they can get to acquire a visa without asking questions, they will go for it and then travel. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to relocate, but it is important for me. I feel that it is very necessary to let the client know the consequences of exactly what they are trying to do. And if they agree to still go ahead, then they need to be ready to bear the consequences. So if you are listening to me and then you have that plan, just know that you just need to be informed what can happen if you travel on a certain visa and have a different mindset. So if you take a country like Dubai, there are so many people that have taken the risk to travel on a tourist visa to go and search for jobs, right? Because like I said earlier, it's more affordable to go to a place like Dubai. So they believe that when they get there, they can switch the visa to a work visa and then stay there permanently for a while. It's a good plan because within that 3 months period, there's a possibility that you'll be able to switch that visa, right? But it is not a fact, it is not guaranteed. So you just need to be prepared that just in case it doesn't work out for you, you need to leave, because once you don't, then it means that you've overstayed, and you have to, once you decide to come back after overstaying, there are penalties that comes with that. Okay, so you need to be very, very careful. If that is your plan, understand that it is not guaranteed. You can move and then try your hardest and it might not work for you. If it doesn't, you just need to come back home and then plan again. That's how it is in some countries. And in some countries too, when you get there, you can't switch. Okay, you can't go to the UK on a tourist visa or US and then just decide to just switch to a work visa, right? It doesn't work that way. You need to come back to your home country and apply. Even if you're a skilled worker and you are highly needed, you still need to come back and then apply for the appropriate visa to travel. So if you have the mindset, like I said, most people just want to leave. So when they get there, they will think about what to do next. If that is your plan, just know that in some countries, for example, UK, Canada, and US, you need to find somebody or possibly falling in love with somebody, or someone falling in love with you, getting married to you, and helping you migrate properly through a spouse visa, right? Depending on the country that you are in. That is one of the best ways to go about it. But there's no guarantees that someone will fall in love with you or you fall in love with someone and you send to marriage. There are no guarantees. So it's also a risk, right? So most people end up just staying there permanently without getting the paperwork done, and then they become illegals until they die or until they decide to come back to their home country. So these are the consequences. You need to know there are cases where you can also be deported. I've seen so many of those, right? There was a time when I was returning back from my trip, I met a woman on the flight who was telling me that after 3 years of her son living abroad, the son has been deported. She was coming from US and transiting through London. So she didn't really understand why her son was deported. So she gave me her card to get in touch and explain things to her and see if she could use my services to help his son. But the point is that he went there. I asked her, what visa did the son travel with? She didn't really have much information. So I told her I'm assuming that he probably traveled on a tourist or a visit visa, and then he overstayed in the UK. So he was probably caught and then brought back home. That was what I assumed. She wasn't too sure. She didn't really know the details. She said she just paid the money and the job was done. So for me, my advice is that if you are paying money to get a visa, just understand the type of visa you are getting. You understand? And then understand what the visa can do for you. Because some people have the visa, they know they are traveling, but they don't even know the extent, to which the visa can take them. They have no idea. When the UK government announced that people could come in and work as carers and even switch from within the UK on whatever current visa you have, most people thought they could switch from their tourist or visit visa whilst in the UK. So I had so many calls, people saying that, oh, can I switch to the skilled worker visa unfortunately it's a no, you understand. So if it was possible, a lot of people would have done it, but unfortunately it's not available for such category. And the reason is that when traveling as a tourist or a visitor, you paint the picture as though you are comfortable, you have enough money, you can come to the UK, you can go to the US, Canada, wherever, enjoy yourself and come back home and still be comfortable. You didn't paint the picture that you are traveling with your last money, so there's no way you'll be able to switch your visa unless, like I said, you fall in love with somebody, someone falls in love with you, marries you, and you go through the process to migrate legally. Apart from that, trust me, you are just going to be stranded for as long as it takes. Alright, so most people end up working with people's papers and all those things, and anything can go wrong. I've met someone recently who was deported just after 1 month. Ask me why. Whilst working in the company, he was arrested in the company because the one whose paper he was using had committed a crime. So whilst he was in the company working, they came and then picked him up, and they realized he wasn't the same person they were looking for, and then they deported him. And he had just gotten there a month ago, and this is one of the European countries. So you just need to be careful. If that's what you plan to do, you need to understand the consequences of your actions, and then you can take, that plan if it works for you. Well, I just wanted to draw your attention to these things before you make that move. Every country and how it operates. There are some that when they arrest you, they will detain you. Some will even put you in prison. So many things can happen. So you need to be very careful. Understand the rules of the country that you are going to before you take the risk. All right. So there are certain things that also can happen and then work in your favor. Okay. Those who traveled on visits and tourist visas and overstayed. When COVID came, nobody knew that COVID was going to come. But some people got an advantage from it. Those living in Canada and UK at the time on those visas. Of course, legally, they're not, those in the UK, for instance, they were living there within the time frame when it happened. So the lockdown wasn't their fault. They couldn't travel. Some of them were able to take advantage of that to, get the right switches and all that. Not everybody, it depends on the category that you fall within. In Canada, to the same thing, the system allowed a lot of people to switch onto a work or permanent resident, and then they gave them the opportunity. They reduced the IELTS requirement. They did so many changes just to allow a lot of people to get the right paperwork to stay and work legally in Canada. So it depends on the country, you understand. Things like this paved way for people who were living there illegally to become legal citizens, but it doesn't happen all the time, and you can't take a risk with the mindset that something will happen to work in your favor. All right, so I just wanted to draw your attention to these things. Thank you so much for listening. If you feel that you want to get in touch with us to get more information on what to do, then you can reach us on the First Lady Ronnie platform on all social media handles. Diet Global Limited on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can go to our website as well, dietglobal.com. So whatever you need, please get in touch. We'll display our numbers for you as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.